Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell, and welcome to part 2 of my Apple IIe pickup. In part 2, I'm going to show you these boards, any manuals that came with the boards, as well as any software disks. So, let's get started. Okay, first up, we have this asynchronous serial interface. I guess that's a fancy way of saying a serial card for the Apple II computer. This is the owner's manual, and this is the board. And if you notice, all the chips on this board are socketed. Okay, and this is the ribbon cable that is included with this board, and I think it comes out like a standard 25-pin serial port for here, but there only appears to be like 6 wires used right here. Only 6 wires are used on this 25-pin connector. Okay, and of course this end plugs into there. But yeah, this is the asynchronous serial interface for the Apple II computers. Okay, next up we have this video display card for the Apple computers, the Apple II computers. And this here is the manual. This is the actual board right here. Very interesting board. And on this board too, all the chips are socketed. And this is the spaghetti of hookup cables that comes with this board. I don't know exactly what they're all for, what they do, but yeah, this is the spaghetti of hookup cables that comes with this board. And then this is the Ultra Term Addendum for May 9th, 1985, and then these are a couple of reference cards, quick reference cards for use with the software and the board. So yeah, I thought this was a very interesting board that came out of my Apple IIe computer. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next up we have the Grappler Plus board. This board allows you to use standard PC parallel printers with your Apple II computer, because the Apple printers are serial printers, and the printers for the PC and for most other computers are parallel printers. So with this board plugged into your Apple II computer, you're able to use standard parallel port, printers and other devices that use the parallel port. I think it's mainly for the printer, so a printer interface. Anyway, this is the board, and apparently it's got the latest firmware here, because I got the old chip in this box right here. But anyway, this is the Grappler Plus board. This is the cable that plugs in, and it comes out with your standard parallel port right here. This is the operator's manual. There's not much to it. This is a Grappler Plus buffered, Grappler Plus manual addendum. Okay, and then of course the Grappler Plus buffer board, the orange microfamily of interface cards. Okay, anyway, this is my Grappler Plus printer interface for the Apple II computers. Okay, next up we have the disk drive controller board that came out of this Apple IIe computer. This will control up to 2 disk drives, drive 1, drive 2. Just plug in their ribbon cables into these connectors here. All the chips are socketed on this board, which is kind of nice, makes it easy for repairs, There's only one capacitor to replace, for recapping, so it's a very easy board for recapping, This is not really the appropriate board for the Apple IIe computer. This is mainly for the Apple II and Apple II Plus computer, because the drives that go with those computers are your typical metal case Apple drives, the Apple II Disk 2 drives with the ribbon cables that plug in to here. The board, the official board for the Apple IIe, it looks like this board. It's very similar, only it has just one connector. And there is a cable that plugs in, a ribbon cable that plugs in, and on the other end of that ribbon cable is your standard 19-pin disk drive connector, 19-pin D connector. And that just fastens to the rear of the Apple IIe case. And this allows you just to plug in disk drives, Apple drives that have that kind of connector, okay? So, yeah. But for some reason, the guy was using the older drives and this older controller board here with his Apple IIe computer, which leads me to believe that he may have originally had an Apple II computer. And then he bought the Apple IIe later on when it came out, when it was released. So, yeah. This is the disk drive, or Disk 2 interface card is the official name of this board. It was released by Apple Computers in 1978. And it was sold, included with the Apple Disk 2 drive for $595. So you got the disk drive and this controller board here for $595. Okay, next up is this Apple IIe 80-column board. Now this board is made specifically for the Apple IIe computer. It's not designed to work with the standard Apple or Apple II Plus computers. It's made specifically for the Apple IIe computer. As you can see, it doesn't have any memory chips on the board. Whereas your standard 80-column board that's made for the Apple II computers, that board has memory included. Okay, whereas this board here does not have memory because it uses the memory on the Apple IIe computer. The Apple IIe computer has plenty of memory, a lot more memory than your standard Apple II computer. Okay, so that's why there's no memory on this board. It has, I believe, newer firmware. And so, yeah, this board is made specifically for the Apple IIe, this 80-column board here. Okay, I just thought I'd show this board. This board was in, actually no, this board was not in the Apple IIe computer, but it was included. And so I thought I'd keep it, I'd show it to you guys. Okay, this is the manual and paperwork that came with that Apple II 80-column text card. Okay, and as you can see, it says here, for IIe only. Okay, for Apple IIe only. Okay, but this is the manual that came with that board and additional paperwork. Okay. All right, here we have Apple's Super Serial Card. As most of you Apple II computer users know, this is a must-have board for any serious Apple II computer user. Because what this board allows you to do, it allows you to hook up your Apple II computer to a PC that has a serial port. Okay, allowing you to transfer software over from your PC that you download off the internet, you know, like Apple programs and games and stuff. You can transfer them from your PC over to the Apple II computer and save them to disk using this board. So yeah, this is the Super Serial Card by Apple, and it is a must-have board for all serious Apple II computer users. This is the manual, installation and operating manual. Okay, Apple II Super Serial Card. Okay, this is the actual board itself, and I think mine has the latest firmware, if I'm not mistaken. Mine's got the latest firmware. And this is the cable that plugs in here, and I believe it comes out with a serial port right here on the end. Yeah. But yeah, I thought I'd show this important board that came with my Apple IIe computer pickup. Okay, this here is a Microsoft soft card. I don't know why they call it that, because what it really is, it is a Z80 processor board. And with this board installed in your Apple II computer, you can run CPM programs. Okay, and I think it's a very interesting board. I think it is a must-have board for your Apple II computer if you want to run CPM software. And as you can see, this board has an LED right there, which is kind of stupid because you can't see it once the board is inside the computer. You can't see that LED. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to be unsoldering that LED, and I'll solder in a 2-pin header. And then I'll have wires with a plug that'll plug into that header, soldered to a red LED, which will be installed on my Apple IIe case. Okay. So yeah, this is the Microsoft soft card. It's a Z80 processor board for the Apple II computer. Okay, this is the manual and the software for that Microsoft soft card. Alright, this here is the Z80 CPU product specification for that processor. Okay, I just thought I'd show it. I think that's so interesting, you know. Okay. Okay, this here is a very rare board for the Apple II computers. It is the wild card. And what this is, it is a very powerful copier for copying Apple II software. And how it works is you first load up your program into the Apple II computer's memory. And after the computer finishes loading up the program and it's residing in memory, you hit this momentary switch right here. And that takes a snapshot of the program while it's running in memory. Very similar to the cartridges for that were produced for the Commodore 64 computers that do the same thing, you know. Yeah, and I thought that was very interesting. I didn't even know that there was something like that made for the Apple computers, but here it is, the very rare wildcard board. And I think this one does have the latest firmware right there. Okay, this is the manual and the system and utility disk for that wildcard board. It's rare to have just the board, but it's even rarer to also have the original manual and the original software. So I thought I'd show this too. All right, here is another must-have board for your Apple IIe computer, and that is the RamWorks card by Applied Engineering. This is a 80-column card, so it does take the place of Apple's 80-column card that was made for the IIe, but it's also a memory expansion board. Okay, and the way the board is set up now, these are 64K DRAMs. So 8 of them make 64K of memory. So the 16 DRAMs here make 128K of memory, that's quite a bit of memory for an 8-bit computer. You know, that's quite a bit of RAM. But you can remove these 64K DRAMs, and you can install up to 16 256 DRAMs, which are 256K DRAMs, for a total of 512K of memory. You know, 256K of memory per bank. Okay, so that's quite a bit. And then you can buy a daughter board that plugs into these connectors here that allows you to add an extra 512K of memory, boosting this board up to a full 1 megabyte. Now on the other side of the board we have more connectors. Alright, more connectors on the other side of this board. And what these connectors are for, these two connectors here, it allows you to plug in Applied Engineering's RGB board. They made an add-on board for this memory card, this 80-column card here that plugs into these connectors here, and it gives you RGB video output for your Apple IIe computer. So I thought that was very interesting, you know, very interesting. Yeah. Anyway. That is the RamWorks 80 column and memory expansion board for the Apple IIe computer, and it's from, it was produced by Applied Engineering. Okay, this here is the user manual for that RamWorks board. As you can see, Applied Engineering. Okay, this is a really good company. Even Steve Wozniak said good things about this company. And this company not only produced boards for the Apple II and Macintosh computers, but they also produced boards for the Commodore Amiga computers. So I thought that was very interesting. And finally, we have this very nice catalog, full color catalog from Applied Engineering that shows you the Apple products that they sold at that time. So I thought we'd flip through this catalog and look inside together, you know, because there's some really cool stuff in this catalog. So, all right. Okay, so that right there is the 2C system clock, compatible with the Apple IIc computer, and it sold for $79. Okay, and there's the RamWorks board right there, and okay, with 64K it sold for $179. With 128K, which is what my board has, so that board sold for $219. With 256K, it sold for $249. With 512K, it sold for $319. With the full 1 megabyte, it sold for $519. And, okay, RamWorks with 2.5 megabyte of memory sold for $1,599. Okay, and then the optional, you know, the RGB option can be added later. That add-on board sold for $129. Okay, all right. Alrighty. So there is Applied Engineering's own 80 column plus 64K RAM board. It sold for $129. Okay. This is their Z80 Plus card, compatible with the 2E and the 2 Plus. There's a Z80 processor. That's actually a nicely laid out board. And it too has the LED here, showing you when this processor is being accessed, you know. Well, this board sold for $139. Okay, this one here sold for $129. Okay. And Okay, and then there is the Time Master 2, compatible with the 2E and 2 Plus. Apparently is some kind of like a real-time, well, like a clock calendar board. Okay. The only clock that displays the date and time on the Apple Works screen. Okay? And this is your order form. It's a dealer order form. That's the form that dealers would use for ordering this stuff for their store. Okay. Okay. Apparently that board sold for $129. Okay, and this is a Viewmaster 80, compatible with 2 Plus and 2E. And that card there sold for $139. And then this is a music synthesizer, compatible with the 2E and 2 Plus, a music synthesizer board. A complete 16-voice music synthesizer on one card. Okay, that board sold for $159. So yeah, these boards were not cheap. You have to understand that this was in the early 80s. So when you account for inflation, just imagine how much these boards would cost today. And that will give you an idea of just how expensive these boards were back then in the early to mid 80s. Okay, and then we have a 12-bit, 16-channel analog to digital converter, compatible with the 2E and the 2 Plus. Yeah, compatible with the 2E and 2 Plus. I don't know exactly what you would do with a board like that. Okay, complete 12-bit AD converter with an accuracy of 0.03%. Okay, all new 1984 design. Incorporates the latest in state-of-the-art IC technologies. So yeah, this is something. I don't know what you would do with that, but it was an expensive board. Keep in mind, this was 1984, and that one card there sold for $319. Okay, $319 for that board. And then this one here is a analog to digital plus digital to analog card, compatible with the 2E and the 2 Plus computers. And this board sold for $199 for that board. Yeah, I thought this catalog was a nice catalog. It showed a lot of the boards and stuff that they sold, so I thought I'd show it. And also there's a nice dedication right here. I think what I'll do is I'll zoom in so that you can read that. I thought this was really cool. You know, for this here, I thought that was really cool. I've purchased several applied engineering products over the years. They've always, they're always well made and performed as advertised. I recommend them wholeheartedly. Steve Wozniak, Apple inventor and co-founder. So I thought that was very interesting, you know, when I saw that on the back of this this catalog. Yeah. Yeah, there's the face of the front of that catalog. I just thought I'd show it again. It's a very nice catalog. I mean, you know, see computer catalogs like this anymore. This is quickly becoming a thing of the past. Yeah, it's quickly becoming a thing of the past. Well, that's it for part 2 of my Apple IIe pickup video series. Stay tuned for part 3 where I show you the software and the manuals. My name is Hans George Campbell, and until next time.